Good morning. Welcome back to another case of COVID 101. Do you remember in the last video, I discussed with you the spike protein, everyone's favorite, and I described it as the kind of pointy end of the key that allows the coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, to get inside the cell. Actually, it docks with the ACE receptor. That's sort of the hole in the lock where it gets in. And then Ferrin turns the key and it gets in. So that's the analogy for the mechanism of action for the spike protein, this part right here. But I want to discuss with you today the pathology of the spike protein, because it's not only a key, it's a killer. Who knew? This is the story. The spike protein contains two portions, the sort of the tip, which is the S1 protein, and then the remainder, the S2. How about that? Now you know spike protein has two units. We're going to talk about the S1, that little tip, because that's the bad boy. What happens is, it's very interesting, when the spike protein engages with the cell, the lock in the cell, right? And it turns, right? Ferrin turns it, okay, so that it can get in. That S1 unit disengages. It's like a booster rocket, Remember, Apollo 11, it takes off and then there are these booster rockets that are disengaged, right? And they fall to Earth, they burn away, whatever they do. S1 disengages, goes out into the world, the cells in your body, the fluids, the lymph, the blood, what have you. And as it turns out, it itself is poisonous. The S1 protein creates the disease that we know as COVID. So here's the big picture. The coronavirus with spike protein gets inside the cell, and then what does it do? It only wants to do what it wants to do, and it only wants to do one thing, and that is to replicate. So it goes in, it's a hijacker, it takes over the machinery of the cells and says, whatever you all are doing, stop what you're doing, you're going to make more copies of me. Big kind of a harem operation going on there, okay? So you have a billion more cells, I exaggerate, not cells, viral particles, many, many, many more viral particles. How do the viral particles get out of the cell? How do they get out? Well, there are two ways they can get out. They can sort of roll out, peacefully, like, say, trucks out of the, assembly of a Ford factory, or the virus can blow up the cell. That's what influenza virus does. It blows up the cell, okay? That's what smallpox virus does. The chickenpox, all those little, red spots filled with pus. So the smallpox virus is blowing up the cells in the skin, and the pus is all filled with more viral particles. So this SARS-CoV-2, okay, it wants to get inside the cell and replicate. And then it blows up the cell, which is why initially during the first, say, week or 10 days, when you are suffering with the viral replication of SARS-CoV-2 in your body, you're sneezing and coughing and hacking and so on and so forth. Your cells are blowing up. They're filled with these viral particles that are blowing up so they can get around. However, I digress, because the real trouble occurs after all of these viruses have been replicated and your immune system goes, enough, you guys are out of here. But there's collateral damage. There's long-term damage, not just to the debris. Now you're going to get over the fact that all of these cells have been destroyed. You have to clean them up. But the S1 protein, is out there in your body, and it is a poison, and it goes to the muscles in your heart, and it goes to the blood vessels in your heart, in your body, in your kidneys, in your spleen, in your brain. And that is what causes the long-term inflammation, and consequences. I want you to think of this little teeny tiny tip, that S1 unit of the spike protein. I want you to think of it as a Stinger missile. I'm going to put up a picture of the Stinger missile. So what's the Stinger missile? In 1981, Raytheon made a super duper missile, a sort of ground to air missile. You know, boys will be boys. Here we have, you know, shoulder mounted rocket launcher, put a stinger in there. And so you can walk around, you're a soldier, and boom, off goes the Stinger missile. I'll show you a picture. It's pretty impressive. They can load them from Humvees, okay, ground to air, take out aircraft, that's the point. And they can load them onto helicopters, so that's an air-to-air Stinger. Yeah, okay, very popular, the Stinger missile. The S-1 unit, I want you to think of as the Stinger, okay? It goes out and it creates a world of trouble for your body. As a matter of fact, the physicians who have designed medical treatment to help patients either stay out of the hospital or get out of the hospital intact, lives intact, are in large part addressing the consequences of this S1 protein that's all over causing all kinds of trouble. So I'll also put up a picture of a bee sting, and I want you to imagine a million billion bee stings in your body caused by this Stinger missile, the S1 protein. So that's it. Now you understand both the function of the spike protein, the S1 subunit, which is the bad boy in this that gets disengaged like a booster rocket after the coronavirus attaches to the cell. I apologize for the noise. They are replacing the facade of this English tuner building. They've been at it for 3 months. I think they're going to be at it for another year. I apologize for the noise. Okay, so we have the spike protein attaches, this S1 subunit disengages like a booster rocket, but actually what it is a Stinger missile, and that's what causes the trouble. So until I see you next time, remember that the two best medicines are love and mercy, and until then, God bless.